Good morning, everybody. It is early Friday morning, and I am 4 weeks out, 4 weeks and 1 day out now from my next show. And for the last about 3 weeks, I've been doing I'm running a low carb diet, about 50 grams of carbs on non-training days and 100 grams of carbs on training days. And today I'm going to be doing a higher carb day. And so I wanted to share this with you guys and also give you a little bit of information as to why we do these days, because I do get a lot of questions on people that are a little bit newer to bodybuilding, or maybe not even really into bodybuilding, but just curious about nutrition. So I figured that I would give a very brief explanation as to why this is something that we do. Now, we typically go through periods of lower carbohydrate intake or lower fat intake. I guess the easiest way I could kind of describe it is a push-pull effect. So during the pull part of the situation, we're pulling out macronutrients, either carbohydrates, fats, or both. And obviously the desired effect of doing that is fat loss. So we're trying to reduce body fat by removing those macronutrients. And we do this for a period of time until we reach a point where the body starts to resist and requires a refueling or a topping off. And that point is a little bit different for everybody. Some people can go longer periods of time on really low carb or low fat or both or whatever. Some people cannot, and different things will happen. Sometimes the body will start to resist and just stop responding and stop losing body fat for a variety of reasons. And the other thing that could happen would be muscle loss. If you push too hard, or I should say pull too hard, you're doing too much in terms of removing carbs, fats, or maybe doing too much cardio. You could start to sacrifice muscle, which is like the opposite of what we want to happen, right? So obviously this is where having a good coach comes in. A good coach will know when it's time to refuel the body and add some extra fats, carbs, or both to top off glycogen levels and refuel the body. And this will not only help prevent muscle loss, but it could also help restart the fat loss process. So I want to go through my day today, and I'm going to share with you what I'm going to be doing to refuel. The amounts of carbohydrates and fats that we add back into our diets during these periods are different for everybody. It depends on so many different factors. It has to do with your genetics, your metabolism, the amount of muscle that you carry. So everybody's requirements for a topping off in terms of extra food are a little bit different. And not only are they different for each person, but they could be different based on the scenario. Meaning it might be different amounts of foods at different times during a prep. So I'm going to share that with you guys today. Hopefully it's interesting. We'll go through meal by meal as usual, and I'll also throw in some other thoughts and ideas that I have that might even be unrelated to the diet itself, but just kind of taking you through my day. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and we're going to get started with meal one here shortly. Okay, so first meal of the day is all prepped, ready to go. I'm going to sit down and eat. The differences between the meal I'm about to eat and what I had been eating for the past 3 weeks are not only a little bit extra carbs, but some extra fats. Previously with meal one, I had been having 8 egg whites and 4 whole eggs. 8 egg whites and 2 whole eggs. And today I'll be having 8 egg whites and 4 whole eggs. So some extra protein and some extra fat there. In addition to that, I am adding in a banana because I had been having 1 cup of oats with meal one anyway. So today I'm having 1 cup of oats and a banana. So a little bit of extra carbs, quite a bit of extra fat added to meal one. So I'm going to sit, enjoy that, and after that, I'm going to get back in bed, take a quick nap. The other thing that I didn't add in earlier that I should probably mention is that when I do these higher carb days or higher calorie days, we can call them, I guess, because we're adding extra fats too. I usually don't do cardio on these days, and so no cardio this morning. So like I said, I'm going to sit, eat, get some rest. It's a leg training day, so I'll get up after that, prep my next meal, and we'll take it from there. So I'm all set. Got my nap in, and I was actually just about to start getting my post-workout meal, which I'm going to eat later, ready. And I just had a few thoughts that I thought would be good to share with you guys that are, that relate to what we're talking about today. And that is why it's so important to have a good coach with a good eye, and someone that can make these decisions as to when it's important to do these different types of things with your diet. Every prep is going to be a little bit different. Every prep that I have has been different. You can't just, have a successful prep this year and expect that you're going to follow the same exact diet and cardio and supplementation training plan for your next prep and expect that it's going to be the same thing or that it's going to work out the same way, because it's not. Things are always going to be a little bit different. Your body's a little bit different each year. We're changing all the time for a number of reasons. And so it's important that you have somebody watching you that understands that and can make those decisions for you. So like I said, every prep is different. And you can't go into this with a cookie cutter mentality. So your coach can't have that type of mentality. All good coaches don't. And if you're coaching yourself and trying to get yourself in shape, you don't want to just hold yourself to one style of diet, one style of training, one style of supplementation because you read that that's the right way. I referenced something similar in my Instagram a while back about the science of bodybuilding and how, to a certain extent, yes, science is important, and it is good to understand the science behind why certain things work and why certain things don't work. But there are also many, many variables. And so you have to be prepared for those variables, and you have to be willing to make changes in your diet, in your training, in your supplementation. And so you've got to have somebody looking after that. This diet, this prep has been completely different from the last one and equally as successful thus far. I think actually this is going to be my best ever. But it's been completely different. The foods I'm eating are different. The supplementation program is different. My training is different. I mean, everything is different. And the results are getting, better and better. So keep that in mind. You've got to have somebody looking after you that understands cookie cutter programs or just following a study because a study says that this is the right thing to do. That's the wrong approach. Take things as they come. You've got to deal with each individual situation as it comes. So you deal what is in front of you. So in other words, you're looking at your physique on a daily basis, hopefully, or maybe a little bit less than that. Some people don't look every day or don't do pictures every day, but you should be doing pictures and analyzing your physique every few days at a minimum to understand what your body is doing. And you make those decisions on what to do going forward based on how you look, nothing else. So please keep that in mind. Now I'm going to continue with the day. Next up, some more meal prep, and then pre-workout meal, and then training, and then maybe some more thoughts and ideas throughout the rest of the day. So hope you guys are taking this stuff in, and we'll keep going. Okay, so next up is some more meal prep. The next meal that I'm going to eat is going to be my pre-workout meal. That's not for about another hour and a half. Actually, about another hour from now. But right now I'm getting ready my post-workout meal. I'm not going to do the whole time-lapse thing because this is a really simple meal to prep. This is a whitefish. It's called the Vietnamese river cobbler. And I'm going to cook 10 ounces of this, pack it up with 2 cups of rice for my post-workout meal. I'll share that again with you later. But it's really easy to cook. I really like this fish. You can see it here. All I'm doing is throwing it 4 fillets in a pan, and I season that with some barbecue salt and throw a cover on top of that and let it cook for a few minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes, flip them another 3 or 4 minutes, and it's done. Really, really easy meal to prep, and then I'll throw that in a cooler, bring it to the gym, and eat that as soon as I'm done training. So I'm going to throw this on, and the next thing I'll show you guys will be my pre-workout meal. So that's it for now. Okay, so it's pre-workout meal time, and today I am having 1 cup of oats, 60 grams of whey protein isolate, and 2 cookies that equal about 40 grams of carbs. And this is actually not a lot different from my regular pre-workout meal. Obviously, the only difference would be the cookies. I don't eat cookies every day, but we're doing this today to get a little bit of an extra pump. Those simple sugars in there should help fill me out, restore glycogen, and like I said, the pump should be good. And it's a leg day. I need legs, so this should go well. And like I said, the only difference between the meal that I'm about to eat now, pre-workout, versus what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks during my low carb, is the cookies. And also, definitely worth noting that during that 3-week period of low carbs, this bowl of oats and the other bowl of oats that I ate with my first meal were the only carbs I would have throughout the day. So the real changes that you're going to see in my diet will come from the post-workout meal and the last 3 meals of the day after that. So I'm going to get this down. I'm going to head to the gym, train some legs, and we'll keep you guys posted. So I'm just about to head to the gym. Training time before meals. Normally I like to eat really, really close to before training time. Like I can eat 20, 30 minutes before and be fine. But on days like today, when I have some extra sugars, like those cookies that I just ate, I like to leave myself a little bit of extra time. So I'll probably train closer to like 45 minutes or maybe even almost an hour after having had eaten. So I'm gonna get in my Uber now and head to the gym, and we'll pick it up from there. Okay, so I'm here at Go24 Fitness. I'm gonna get my leg training done. Unfortunately, no filming today. I gotta get this done, and I gotta get it done right. I'm not gonna take any time to set up the camera and all that. And I'm training alone, so I'm gonna get my leg workout done, and then we'll continue on with the meals. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do post-workout and for the rest of the day. So hopefully this goes well. I'm ready to kill it. Okay, so leg workout is done. Long, tough one. I'm a high volume guy, so it was like a total of about 30 sets total for legs today. It was rough. But I got my post-workout meal here. This is 10 ounces of the whitefish that I cooked earlier, the Vietnamese river cobbler, and 2 cups of white rice. The difference between this and what I had been doing for the past 3 weeks is the 2 cups of rice. Previously, this meal had just been 12 ounces of fish and no carbs, so no rice. And that's what I had been doing for the past 3 weeks. So this is a nice bump in carbs. It's 100 grams of carbs versus 0. So I'm looking forward to getting this down, getting back home, getting showered, and then I'll have more for you guys. We'll be doing some more cooking. I'll show you guys the rest of my meals for the day, and I got a couple other things I want to talk about. Okay, so next up, we're going to do some more meal prep. I'm going to cook enough chicken for about 2 or 3 meals. Each one of these has 2 chicken breasts. In total, this is enough for about 2.5 meals, as I typically eat 10 to 12 ounces at a time. I think I've said that before in some of my Instagram posts. And then with this next meal, we've got sweet potatoes. So actually, it's a yam, but sweet potato or yam, usually either one's okay. So I'm going to cook this actually in the microwave. Sometimes we'll boil them, but just because I'm a little short on time today and
I didn't plan in advance and cook a whole bunch of these, and this one's pretty big. I'm going to actually just scrub it real good, poke it with a bunch of holes in it with a fork, and then wrap paper towels around it, throw it in the microwave, and usually cook it for about 5-minute intervals until it's cooked all the way through. A big one like this may take 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll show you guys what the totally prepped food looks like, and we'll talk about the next meal. Okay, so next up is meal number 4. So today we're doing 10 ounces of chicken. I got some of my favorite hot sauce on here, stuff called Cholula. Actually, here it is. And then we've got 10 ounces of sweet potato, like mixed in some cinnamon. And then I'm doing a Coke Zero with that today. This would be different from my normal meals, actually, like I had been saying during the course of this video throughout the day, that for the last 3 weeks when I've been doing low carb, this meal would have just been 10 ounces of chicken with vegetables. Typically when I do a higher carb day where I have more carbs with the meal, I'll cut the vegetables out, mostly because of the stomach volume. I mean, that's it's a lot of food, so we just leave that out on days like this when we're going a little bit higher carb. But so this is it for meal number 4, and I'll keep you guys posted on the rest of the day. So this meal is going to be meal number 5. I'm going to walk you guys through the entire cooking process for this one. Unfortunately, the camera angle is fixed as is, so I'm going to have to kind of show you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. But we've got sweet potato, yam here, already scrubbed and cooked. I'm sorry, already scrubbed and cleaned. So I'm going to stab it with this fork. Get that so that it doesn't explode when we put it in the microwave. I'm going to take it, and I'm basically wrapping it up in paper towel. And then I'll take the paper towel, this potato wrapped in paper towel, run it under a little bit of water. Get it nice and wet. Okay. Then I'm going to take that, stick it on a plate, and throw it in the microwave for 5 minutes at a time. It's going to take about 15 minutes to cook. So hopefully that's not too much noise and you can still hear what I'm saying as I'm cooking the rest of this meal. So we're going to have a couple of different things going on at the same time. For this meal, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the times if I do a heavy carb meal, I won't do vegetables with it, but I've got to get some vegetables in. I don't want to have a day that's completely without. So I've got some frozen broccoli here. I'm going to add some water. And we're going to let this cook as the sweet potato sits in the microwave. So as that's going, I've got my lean steak, and this is enough for just over 10 ounces, and that's what I'm going to do for this meal. Once it's cooked, it's just over 10 ounces. I have a Chipotle barbecue salt seasoning that I like to use, so I'm going to get that going here and get that seasoned up. Do that while we wait for that sweet potato. Okay, so that's sort of the first step. We got to give this sweet potato a little bit of time, so I'm going to give you guys a quick break. We'll come back when that's almost done, and I'll show you how we're going to do the steak and take care of the broccoli. Okay, so the broccoli and the sweet potato are now done. The sweet potato actually cooked in about 10 minutes, a little faster than I expected. And here's what it looks like. The plate's really hot, so I can't hold this for too long, but I'm going to let this cool off as I cook the steak. And here's the broccoli. That's just straining here, and that's going to cool down here in a little bit. And now with the steak, I found that the trick with a good steak is obviously to let the pan get really, really hot before you put the steak on there. So while that's there, getting nice and hot, I am going to measure out 12 ounces of the sweet potato, which I'll see if I can do that over here carefully without burning myself. Should be fairly easy to do. Alright, actually, no one needs to see this. I'm gonna measure out the sweet potato, and we're gonna let that pan get a little bit hot, and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna cook the steak. So hold on just a second. Okay, so there we have it. 12 ounces of sweet potato, piping hot. I'm gonna add a little bit of cinnamon to that. I got some cinnamon right here, so add that. Just a little bit. Mix that up, and then we're going to sit and let it cool as we cook our steak. So that's all set there. That pan, yeah, that's nice and hot now. So we're going to get our skillet ready right over here next to the pan. Zero that. We got our steak here, which is seasoned and ready to go, and that's now going to go onto the pan. I'm going to have to turn the fan on, so it's going to get a little bit loud in here. Okay, so the steak's going now. I'm going to season that with a little bit more because only one side was seasoned. We're going to let that go. We'll let that cook. I'll show you what that looks like as it's cooking. And then we'll finish up, put everything together, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. One of my favorite meals of the day. So there's that steak. Getting nice and charred on one side. I'm going to finish cooking that up. And then, like I said, I'll show you guys the finished product. And there we have it. 10 ounces of steak with broccoli. I put a little bit of Frank's Red Hot on there. And we have the 12 ounces of sweet potato with some cinnamon. I'm going to sit down and I'll tell you about how this is a little bit different from what I had been eating during the low carb phase that I just finished up. Okay, so meal number 5. Again, we've got the 10 ounce steak, the broccoli, and the 12 ounce sweet potato. Normally, during the last 3 weeks, this meal had been exactly the same with the exception of no sweet potatoes. So this would be just a protein and fat only meal with the lean steak. So this is my 5th meal of the day, second to last meal. I've got one more to go. Unfortunately, the last meal is going to be really boring, but I'll save that for later. And I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit more detail with cooking and showing you how to cook a good steak. Like I said, the trick to a good steak is to let the pan get really, really, really hot. It smokes everything up, and it'll stink your apartment up, but the steak will be cooked just right. So give it a try. Alright, so I'm on my last meal of the day. And last meal of the day, very simple. It's a shake. This is 60 grams of whey protein isolate. So I said high carb day today, but if there's one thing that you can take away from this video that I made for you today, it's that a high carb day is going to be different for everybody, and it's going to be different at different times during a prep. It's going to be different in your off season. It's going to be different depending on so many different factors. So just please try to keep that in mind. It's the one thing that I hope everybody can take away from this video, and that is everybody's different, and the amounts of foods that we consume are going to be different, and how we approach diet is going to be different, just like anything else. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this kind of stuff. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And if you have any further suggestions on stuff that you'd like to see me do more of in the future, please let me know in the comment section, or you can contact me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Peter Costello, all one word, _ IFBB Pro. That's all I have for you today. Thank you again. I really appreciate all of you watching today, and you'll be hearing more from me soon. Been a long day. Thanks. Good night.